Hello, Fat Grandma here. If you have not been here before, my name is Paula. I have a small eBay store and I occasionally sell things on Poshmark. And what I usually do is go through my sales and talk about those, and then I go into more personal stuff, near the end of the video. And if anybody wants to stick around for that, they can. Um, I am not going to start with my solds this time. I'll put a timer up here in the corner to let you guys know. You can skip to the solds if you don't want to hear this part. In my last video, I was bidding on some things in an auction, and I shared the items that I was bidding on with the internet, which was probably not a good idea. Not that very many people are watching my YouTube videos, but it isn't going to help me if there's other people in Phoenix that are watching my videos and I talk about awesome finds at an auction, because then they can go look at those and also bid on them. And I don't know if that may have been what happened, but because the things that I were bidding on, um, you know, I don't know, but I got a little carried away with one of the items because I really wanted it. And then I got aggravated. And if any of you have ever participated in online auctions or even auctions in general, you would know what I'm talking about. If you have something that you're really after or that you really want, and I put my bid in early. I put my bids in early for my stuff that I wanted, and someone came along and I could see that it was the same person, and they were bidding on the two things that I really wanted to get. There was another item, couple items that I ended up buying, or getting, in the auction, but I didn't really care about those that much. The one thing that I really wanted, I got outbid on. And it I kept bidding. At one point, once it got up to $40, then I was just angry. And I got very petty, and I told myself, you know what? I'm just going to keep bidding until this thing is over $50. If I get it for 50, then, because I'll show you guys a picture of what it was. It was some, I can't remember the brand name. I'll put it up here. Holiday plates. There were a set of 12 holiday plates that are worth at least $100, if not more, depending on the condition and if you have the original packaging and all of that. Some people have them listed for a lot more than that. It's gotten ridiculous, the amounts that they're listing them for, and I don't know if the person bidding against me was buying them for personal use, or if they didn't look at the solds and they only looked at what other people have them listed for, and that's how they decided how high they wanted to go. I kept placing bids because I was irritated, and I didn't. First of all, I wanted them, and again, I had bid on them long before the auction, and I I got to the point where I was so aggravated with this other person that I was so petty that I was willing to keep bidding to the point where they won't make very much profit when they do sell them. If they're selling them, you know, it's almost being vindictive. Not really. It's not a good side. I don't like that part of my personality when that comes out, and I get competitive, and I'm being petty about something. That's not a redeeming quality. Um, but they ended up paying, I think it was $54 or 54 or 55. And then on top of that, because I kept bidding, I was like, I'm just going to make it so that, if they do sell them, they're not going to make a ton of money on them. Um, and that was me being mean or whatever, petty, whatever you want to call it. Um, they ended up paying, again, 54 or 55. Plus, they're going to have an 18% auction fee plus tax. Um, and then if they sell them for 100, even 125, which is unusual. I don't think there's any that, there might be one set that sold for 125. They're going to have all those eBay fees to pay. So, they might come out of it with $50, if that, you know. So I just told myself, I'm lucky, I'm really lucky that they didn't stop bidding and I ended up with a $53 or $54 bill. I'm my own worst enemy sometimes. So, anyway, I did get a couple things, and I will share those with you guys up here. I'm going to pause this for a second so I can pull the auction page to share with you what I got. There is currently an auction going. As I was saying, there's currently an auction going that I have bid on some things, and if it's finished by the end of this video, I might jump in and show you guys what I got. Anyway, the things that I won on the auction that was, you know, back earlier in the week were the Tin Woodsman pewter measuring spoon set, and I ended up paying $16 for those. It was that same person, and I could tell because on the website they they hide the usernames of the people that are bidding, but they put different, I don't know how to describe this. They put a convoluted name with asterisks and stuff, and it's the same username on all of the items that that person is bidding on. So mine might be FQYZ with an asterisk, and then you would see me again if I was bidding on something else. Anyway, I kept seeing the same person. They were bidding on the same stuff that I was bidding on. The plates that I wanted, and they were Pottery Barn. That's what it was. And then the Tin Woodsman pewter measuring spoon set. Now, this Tin Woodsman measuring spoon set, I paid 16 for it, which is way more than I should have, but I was not letting that person get another thing that I was after they'd gotten the plates. I was so aggravated with them. So anyway, the other things that I got were I got the little drunk friar bobblehead that I talked about in the last video. So I did get him. I got him for $1. He should sell for around 25 or maybe even 30. So I'm thinking more around 25. So paying $1 for him, that'll make up for the overpayment on those pewter measuring spoons. And then I also got a pair of solid brass quail figurines. I paid $8 for those. I don't know if they're going to be worth it or not, but it was that same person again. That same person that had bid against me on the plates was also bidding on the quail. It's like, really, whoever you are. The other thing that I bid on, and it was a last minute, I was, watching the auction since I hadn't gotten those plates I was after. I saw these Dansk pasta bowls, and they had kind of an unusual design on them, and there were only 6 of them in one of the photos. And no one was bidding on them. So I looked them up, and they sell for a decent amount. And, as like replacements or whatever. And then I looked further into the photos, and I noticed that there were 2 sets of 6. One looked like bowls, and the other ones looked like dinner plates. And I was like, that's weird because it only said 6 bowls in the listing, in the auction listing. And so I went ahead and bid on them. I got them for $1. And one of the pasta bowls has a chip so it's useless. Maybe someone can use it for an art project or something, and I'll list it that way. But I got 5 pasta bowls and 6 dinner plates for $1. And these may take a while to sell. And they may sell one at a time or whatever, but they sell for a decent amount. So those were a good purchase. They're just going to take up some room, and they're kind of heavy. But again, they do sell for a decent amount. So that's what happened with that auction. And the one that I'm bidding on stuff now, I'm not even watching it. I just put my bids in, and I'm like, whatever happens, happens, because I don't want to get into what's basically a pissing contest with someone else over something that I maybe don't even need. I probably don't need. I really don't need. I have too much crap here. So anyway, so that's it for the auction stuff. I was stupid. It could have bit me in the butt. I could have ended up with those plates, but I wouldn't have really had any profit once I sold them. But now I, I bid against the other person to the point where if they're not for personal use, they're not going to make a ton of money on them. Anyway, so now I'm going to talk about my solds. And again, I will have put a timer at the beginning, let you guys know when this was going to happen. My one Poshmark sale was really pretty lame, and I know I pulled that. I know I pulled the page up. Here we go. I opened some tabs this time, so you guys wouldn't have to watch me do that. Okay, now these are something you should never buy. And I'm just going to say that because I learned from experience. The animal rescue thrift store that I go to, I don't use my cell phone in there very often to look up prices for things because it's a very small shop and they can. I don't like it when people notice that I'm doing that. So I don't know why it bothers me. I don't really want people to see me looking up prices for stuff. If I can sneak around and hide around a corner and look something up, or if I can do it and nobody else is next to me, then I don't have a problem. I'll probably get easier as I go along, but again, I've only been doing this for less than a year still. Next month it'll be a year. So since I started selling on eBay. So what I sold on Poshmark, and I barely broke even on these, was two Avon Honor Society teacup and saucers. These I'll put photos up in the corner. They sold for $9 for each set, and I'm going to make a whopping $12 profit from that sale. So they were a bad purchase, and I still have a bunch more listed, and hopefully they'll end up selling. I thought about just redonating them. I don't know. If they stay in my store for another year and they haven't sold, then I may bundle them up and just get rid of them that way if I can. Or I may just redonate them just to get them out of here because they just take up room. Um, Anyway, so those are gone, and that's it for my Poshmark. There's that one sale again. My next sale was I threw a bunch of ornaments in one lot together. It was 12 blown glass Christmas ornaments, and to list them individually, it wouldn't have been worth it really. So I just threw them all in a bag and I took photos and I sold them for $13.49 plus shipping. And with shipping, it was $21.71. So, and I got those in an auction lot that I think I paid, I don't know, maybe at the most $5. I think it was less than that because I don't think anybody else was bidding on these. I can't remember for sure. If I find what I paid, I'll stick it up here in the corner. But yeah, anyway, $13.49 for that bag of ornaments. The next item I sold, and this is kind of a bolo, and I had no idea. This was in an auction lot, another auction lot again, and it was really tiny, and I couldn't really see what it was. And there were some other items in that lot, and I think some of them were broken once I got them, and they weren't really were selling. So I was like, okay, I'm out that money that I spent on that lot. But this little thing, it's a vintage Santa Claus Noel sleigh and reindeer porcelain. They're made in Japan. And it was just a little Christmas decoration. It wasn't very big. It was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches long and just a couple inches high. And there was nothing fancy about it. It was, just very, you could tell it was old, kind of. Anyway, that little thing sold for $32.40, and that was my sale price. Um, with shipping, it was 45.02. Now, there's variations of these little Noel Santa and reindeer decorations, and they all seem to sell for a decent amount of money for what they are. So if you happen to see one of these or something that looks like it and it says Japan on the bottom of it, maybe grab it or look it up at least on eBay and see if you can find one that looks like it, because all of them that look similar to this one and then this particular one were selling for over 30, 40, $50 even on some of them. So depending on the condition. Couldn't believe it. I was really surprised. I went ahead and listed it knowing that I've seen, I had comps, looking at comps that were, up there. And I reduced mine a little bit because some of the paint was really worn off and it wasn't in great condition, but still 32.40 for this little thing. Mind boggling. Anyway, the next item I sold was a used DVD. This wasn't mine, this was something that I got in a lot. And it was the Gruffalo narrated by Helena Bonham Carter. And it was in very good condition, this DVD, and it sold for $4.99, and with shipping it was $8.94. The next item was that lamb that I told you guys about in the last video. It was the Build-A-Bear lamb, and she was in a little dress, and it sold for $15, and with shipping it was $26.65. So that's another Build-A-Bear that's gone. And again, there's only two that have sold. I've still got three. There's more people watching the other three now, the bear and the two lambs. So we'll see what happens. And there's someone watching that fox wolf thing that I talked about in the last video, that Build-A-Bear. There's person watching that. So, fingers crossed that it ends up selling. The next item I sold was a Danco single handle valve trim kit, brushed nickel tub and shower faucet. And this is something I normally wouldn't sell plumbing stuff or lighting things or any of that, but there was an auction lot of plumbing supplies and it looked like it had some good stuff and it was all open package, like open box stuff that had been returned or whatever. So I listed it and it sold for $10. They made me an offer. I can't remember what I had it listed for, but I sold it for 10, and with shipping it was 19.58. So, and all that plumbing stuff. It's a big tote and it's full of weird little plumbing things, and I've listed a few of them. The rest of them are either going to go to the swap meet with me at some point, or I'm going to just redonate them. I don't know yet. Let's see. The next item it sold was a McCarthy baseball cap. It was dark gray with fluorescent orange on the back of the cap. I think it's a drywall company or some kind of construction. Anyway, it sold for $7.19, and it was a sale item. And with shipping, it was $14.21. The next item I sold, and this is something that was just random in an auction lot that I purchased. I think it was in with some handbags, or a handbag and a couple of other wallets, and it's long been paid for. Anyway, I sold this wallet for a whopping $3.50. They made me an offer, and I've had it forever, so I was like, fine, With shipping, it was $9.88. So the next item I sold was an OtterBox Apple iPods first and second generation silicone case, and it was strawberry. It was open box. This is another one of those things that I'm not doing anymore. I told you guys, new stuff that's open box or from the bin stores or any of the, marked down at Walmart or wherever, not doing it. I don't do well with these things. And again, this sold for $4. That's it. And I know I paid more than that for it from the surplus auction website. So it's gone. Whatever. With shipping, it was $9.89. So I've learned my lesson with those things. Okay, this next item, I got in another auction lot, and it was in the lot with those Coleman mugs, cups, whatever, the enamel. This wasn't Coleman brand. It was no brand on it. It was a vintage white enamel Billy can flask cup. Had a handle. It's retro campfire pot is how I listed it, And it sold, and I didn't have it listed very long. For $13.49, it was on sale, and with shipping, it was $22.81. There's one other item that sold, and I haven't boxed it up yet, so it's on a different page. This was another auction lot, and if I find the lots that these things came from, I'll put the pictures up here in the corner. This one was a vintage 1990 TY curly golden brown tan teddy bear plush. It was stuffed animal. It was pretty big though, 16 inches. It sold for 24.29. Again, it was on sale, with 10% off, but with shipping it was 35.84. Um, when I bid on the auction that this particular bear was in, I had looked this bear up to see, because you use Google Lens if you're doing the auctions. If they have decent pictures, you can sometimes get an idea of what the lot, might be worth. And so I had looked this bear up, and I knew that there was a good chance it might be worth a little bit more than just an average plush. And so it was, and it sold pretty quick too, because I haven't had it listed for, I don't know, maybe a week and a half. It hasn't been listed very long. So it was a good purchase. Anyway, I think that's it for my solds, unless something else sells between now and when I edit the video, and then I'll pop it in here. Um, Otherwise, that's it. If you came for just the solds, you can go on with your day, and see you next time. Um, so I'm going to go into my personal stuff now. I finally decided that I was going to break down, and I didn't buy a GoPro because I don't go out sourcing that much, but I occasionally do. And I thought, well, I can always record when I go to pick up things from auction house, because sometimes you can preview other stuff that's in upcoming auctions. So I could get some of that on footage too, just to give you guys something different to look at besides me just sitting here in front of the camera talking about whatever. Um, anyway, excuse me. I didn't buy a GoPro because I can't justify. It's like me with the cell phones. My iPhone, I have an 8. I I will not pay more than a couple $100s for a phone. It just seems ridiculous to me that they're so expensive. And I know it does everything your computer can do, blah, blah, blah. I spent a ton of money on my computer, so I'm not going to spend a ton of money on my phone. Anyway, and same goes for this camera, because I don't know how much I'm going to use it. I don't know if it's really going to be that beneficial for me to have, but I wanted to have one because I can't, with my iPhone, I don't know how people do it when they just have the iPhone and they're recording and they're getting checking prices on things. I wouldn't be able to do that. I'm not a magician, so you know, no tricks for me. Anyway, I'll post the camera that I bought up here in the corner. I did a bunch of research. I watched some videos, people's reviews of the camera, and I read comments on Amazon. I hate that I had to buy it from Amazon, but it was a better price than I could get anywhere else. So, um, anyway, and my Amazon membership thing my Prime hasn't expired yet. So, um, I don't know what I'm going to do about that. But anyway, so I bought this camera. I did the research. I've looked more than once at the different cameras that are out there. And this time I decided, since I'd had that really good sale last week with those glasses and the picture, I went ahead and decided to go ahead and get the camera. And I haven't even taken it out of the box yet. I'm kind of afraid, I'm going to have to fiddle with it and figure it out and learn how to use it. And I don't know if there's going to be a chest strap with it or how I'm actually going to use it when I go out to do things. I don't really know if I want to wear a camera on my person and have people see that I'm wearing a camera. So I'm not sure how I can incognito the camera. If there's a way for me to do that, I'll try and figure something out so that I can just, maybe wear it and they won't notice. Because I don't really want to be walking around with a camera on my chest or wherever and people wondering what the hell I'm doing. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go. But if I ever went to yard sales, and there's plenty of them on the weekends and stuff, but I have anxiety about those. So I don't, I would probably buy things and overspend because I wouldn't want to use my camera to look prices up. That would be my biggest problem going to a yard sale. So, because you're right out in the open, everybody's around, and if there's a bunch of people, they're going to be, grabbing stuff or what. I don't know. I wouldn't feel comfortable pricing things at a yard sale. So, anyway, so that was my new thing I bought, and I'm kind of excited to play with it because I like tech stuff. Um, but at the same time, I'm a little nervous about it because I don't know exactly when I'm going to be able to use it or how I'm going to use it and not scare everybody around me. What's this old lady doing with her camera? Um, anyway, so that was that news. If this video has been choppy, it's because I added some things or put things in different spots because I kind of jumped around. I'm going to check the auction that I've been bidding on stuff today and let you guys know if I won anything or what I got. So I'm going to pause this and then I will jump back in with that in a minute. Okay, I'm back. The auction finally ended, or at least the stuff that I was bidding on finally went through, and I got three different things, actually more than three, but three lots. And the first one was a Lily Creek kitchen tea set. Now, these only sell for around $20 if they're not in the original box and packaging and stuff. But I just thought it was really pretty, and what would an auction purchase be if I didn't buy something I could break? So, because you know me, I like to buy the things that are breakables. And anyway, I paid $5 for it. So, if it sells for around 20, that's fine. And so the next lot was, and this is kind of a retail arbitrage thing. But I looked these up. They're Disney Princess Cinderella dolls, but they have a microphone with them, and it's not just a doll that you play with. It does other things, and I'll post photos up here. Anyway, it was a lot of two, and I got them for $10. And somebody else must have bid because I put up to 10 is what I would bid up to. These dolls have been selling for, even after Christmas, at least $50, sometimes more. So we'll see how it goes. I may have to sit on them for a while, but for $5 a piece, well, six with the auction fees and stuff, but for $6 a piece, if I can sell each of them, even for 40, it's totally worth it. So those I got, and the last thing I got was an assortment of Disney stuffed animals, and there's two Tiggers in here, and the horse from Toy Story. There's two of those, I think, and there's a couple little other random weird things, a snake, and I couldn't really get a good look at. Again, when they do these auction lots, they don't always take great photos, and so sometimes you just get a pile of stuff, and you have to kind of dig through and look for. Anyway, I paid $5 for all of these plush, and I know I can sell everything that's in there for I'll make my money back, no problem. And one of the Tiggers is pretty big. He's like 24 inches. So he'll probably, if I can sell him, he'll pay for the whole lot, and then everything else will just be profit. So anyway, that was it for the auction that I was watching today, and I think I picked that stuff up tomorrow. So if anything's unusual that comes in, and I may do a video in the middle of the week, and I'll show the things to you guys that that I got that maybe weren't obvious in the photos that I missed somehow. I think that's it for the video. If anything else sells, I'll put it in earlier in the video. I'll just record that, little snippet or whatever and throw that in here. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you next time. Bye.